Yeah. Uh, Hello, everyone. This is John Jenkins. And I already recorded today's video, so I guess this is the replacement video for that video, and I'll put the other video up later. But I just wanted to say that it is so hard to be a content creator. You know, it is so hard to decide what you're going to do, especially this. Hold on, let me wait for this ambulance to go by. Oh, it was a fire commander vehicle. Anyway, it is so hard to figure out like what you're going to produce, especially if you have a YouTube channel. It's hard to figure out what you're going to make your videos about. You know, and people will say that I was cheap because I did the black guy reading a book, but I was vindicated because the video of me reading silently is still is my most viewed video on my main channel. So it's not like I was just being lazy. It was because I saw some potential in it. That basically I saw an entire industry. I'm getting off topic here, but basically I saw an entire industry which I could have like how they had the Le Mans 24-hour race and 24 hours of the Nurburgring, things like that. I was gonna have the reading 24 hours, and I think I was gonna make that a Kickstarter. So I was gonna have people just reading for 24 hours. People like people say I'm cheap, but this is my life. Like I read 5 hours a day. It's gonna I won't be doing that in the near future, but for the past year basically year and a half, I've been reading for 5 hours a day. So this is my life. This is basically a 40-hour work week. You know, it's a 35-hour work week that I'm spending reading like 7 days a week. Now I do take a day off, in between books, so it's not actually 7 days a week. But when I'm not reading at home, I go to the library and read. So reading is my life. It's a full time job for me. So I don't really see it as being cheap for me to want to make videos of me reading. And I was vindicated. It's my most viewed video on the channel, on my main channel. I still don't know what my most viewed video is on this channel, but I'll get to that later. And anyway, it's so hard to come up with ideas, and especially hard coming up with. It's a little bit less hard coming up with Kickstarter limits. So I started off with 50,000 limit, 50,000 goal on my last Kickstarter, which was "You Must Be Tripping," Chicago, the Olympics in Chicago, and then I went up to $110,000 limit. And I think maybe all those Nigerian preachers are starting to rub off on me. Uh, the way they just speak prosperity, and it's like here's what you do: you write yourself a check for $1 million, and by the time you cash it, you'll have the $1 million. They say they don't say that exactly, but they say something along those lines. So I'm like, uh, I need to, if I really want to be wealthy, I can't be nickel and diming people. And that's the problem. Is that on the one hand, um, it would be sort of silly for me to be just taking money from the same person every time. But on the other hand, um, what's on the other hand? On the other hand, I only have one dedicated fan. So on the other hand, it's sort of like you know want to get more. I want to get more money from my fan. I want to spread. You know, I want to spread the wealth between many different fans. So that I'm not just taking money from the same guy and depleting one guy's checking account. You know, but on the other hand, at the same time, um, on the other hand, like um, I don't have one dedicated fan, so it's like, is it which one is more disrespectful? Is it more disrespectful to take money from the same person every time and deplete one person's checking account, where it's like it's literally like a zero sum game and there's no economies of scale and nothing like that. I'm just taking it's just analog. 500 from his checking account means 500 my checking account. Should I do that? Is that more disrespectful, or is it more disrespectful to just ignore my only fan and spend like the rest of my life uh, not producing anything, not building any sort of repertoire? And I guess that's what I'm saying is that maybe I need to build towards something instead of putting everything like instead of just showing up out of nowhere and demanding, you know, well, I'm the guy who did the let's go quad so I deserve $100,000. Well, my first Kickstarter netted me $0 because I didn't reach the goal. So I got no money from that Kickstarter. So if that's my gauge to success, that I was a failure. But what was I saying? Yeah, but should I should I just produce things specifically for my fans? Should I produce things specifically for my fans, or should I spend the rest of my life trying to produce things for people who are not interested? It's like it's so difficult, and it's really hard because I don't. It's like the instinct is that I want to hold back my best stuff. Like I don't want to give away my first novel, which is Save Them, which I'm writing right now. I don't want to give that away for $500, because I won't be able to sell it to a big publisher later. But at the same time, it's like maybe I should give my best for just my fans. I mean, it's hard, but and especially especially I'm a black guy, so they see nobody's gonna accept an Ayn Rand style novel from from a black guy. They expect you. I mean, basically, if I were to go to a, a, a traditional publisher, I would be pigeonholed into urban fiction. And you know, you can look at all this stuff right here and tell that I should not be writing urban fiction. You can look at my face and tell that I should not be writing urban fiction. But as a black man, if I try to go the traditional publishing route, they'll try to pigeonhole me into urban fiction, and I'm gonna be talking about like you know uh, urban fiction characters. I've never read urban fiction novels, so I don't know what the characters are like. But I just noticed that when you go to the library and they have the books that have the African American label on it, you know, whichever book has the African American label on it, it's usually either about slavery if it's nonfiction, and if it's fiction, it's urban fiction. So I don't want to be pigeonholed. I want to be able to write about anything that I want, anything that I want. Not necessarily. I mean, I want to write about science fiction, near future fiction, which is my current novel, action, adventure, uh, even nonfiction books. Um, Obviously, I was gonna write, I was gonna write a little bit about Lovey Smith's Bulls. I mean Lovey Smith's Bears. I'm not even paying attention. I was gonna write about Lovey Smith's Bears, but I'm getting off topic. Basically, should I uh, should I do this? Should I, you know, should I lower my limit to so that my fans can get stuff from me? It's like what is the greatest good to get stuff to what's the greatest thing? Okay, to get stuff to get for is it better for my fans to get stuff from me, or is it better for you know uh or is the more important stuff thing to grow the fan base? Should I give to the fan base or should I grow the fan base? It's so hard to figure these things out. I think what I'm gonna do is for the next Kickstarter, I'm gonna have my I think for the next Kickstarter I'm gonna have my I don't think that's gonna work. I really don't think that's gonna work. I was gonna say I think I should have my um teaching kids how to build computers. I was gonna take $500. I was gonna take $500 and I was going to teach a bunch of kids how to build a computer from the bottom up. Uh, but it doesn't. That might not work. You know, because I know I can get the parts for $500, but it might not work as far as the because I might have to buy insurance. I might have to register my business. I might have to do a whole bunch of other stuff before I can even uh, do that. So now I do have options like I can make these are high quality. So the one about building computers is high quality. The Kickstarter about building computers is high quality. I can do that for $500. The Kickstarter about making my first manga, that's gonna be high quality, and I can do that for $500. Um, so it's hard to figure out, and I'm gonna keep. I mean, I mean, I guess what they say is true is that it like if you're fixated on they they say this today that if you're fixated on just a dollar amount, if you're fixated on getting a certain dollar amount, you'll never be rich. You'll never be wealthy. You have to be focused on producing something that the public wants at a good price. And I think that is the ultimate goal that I have to strive for. I have to produce something that the public wants at a fair price. And I think that's what I'm going to do uh, uh, starting next month. So yeah, this Kickstarter, it's 110,000, and it seems like illogical that I would ask for more than double what I asked for the previous Kickstarter when you know only like only like 25 people watched the video for that Kickstarter, so that was not going to be successful. So I think it's so hard though, to give things to it's so hard to get rid of your ego. It's so hard to bypass your ego and to say, well, I believe that everybody in the world should, pay attention to me. And obviously, when I say everybody wants to pay attention to me, I mean only without criticism, as in no, don't bring up my faults. Just be in awe of all the great things I can do, which is, you know, uh, be in awe of the great things I can do, and give me all your money. That's 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 the way I think. Uh, but it's hard to get rid of your ego and to just produce things that people want at the price that they want. But I'm a capitalist, so I gotta do it. I'm a capitalist, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it. So